I get a lot of questions about where I get bits for my conversions. A lot. And that makes sense, honestly, because if I got all the bits for my conversions from full sets, I'd be bankrupt by now. The most economical way to kit bash is to use bit sites. Bit sites are pretty much what they sound like, sites from which you can order specific bits from specific kits. Having ordered from all the major ones, I thought it'd be useful for me to create a guide for aspiring kit bashers out there. None of these are particularly in-depth reviews because most of the sites are pretty comparable to each other, honestly, but they do have their quirks. One thing to bear in mind is that all bit sites tend to have rather anemic availability. They don't keep a big inventory in reserve, so if you want a specific bit, you'll need to stalk the site for a bit. All of them are also based in Europe, so if you're in the US like me, you'll generally need to wait at least 3 to 4 weeks for them to arrive. I'll have links to all the sites and stores I mentioned in the description box. Bitzbox is probably the most known bit site and the one I use most. It's decently priced and used to have free shipping worldwide, though now it's limited to the UK. The UI is a little primitive, but gets the job done. The one real downside to Bitzbox is the range is somewhat limited. They have bits for most of the popular kits, but if you're looking for some of the less popular ones, like Beastmen or Ogres for example, you'll be out of luck. Still, an overall solid source for bits, and they even have a YouTube channel. Bits and Kits is the other site I use the most, and that's because they have the most extensive range of kits, even going so far as to include some of the more obscure ones out there. This doesn't mean they always have inventory of a specific kit, but if you wait long enough, it may eventually pop up. The one real downside to the site is that the UI is an eyesore, and the site has the bad habit of logging you out in the middle of shopping completely unprompted if you have too many tabs open. Bitzarium has a much nicer UI than either Bitzbox or Bits and Kits, has free shipping for orders over €40, and has a range somewhere between the two. The only thing that holds the site back are that it tends to refill its inventory slowly, and there's also a super irritating feature where if an item in your cart goes out of stock, you have to manually search for each one and take them out. It gets old fast. BitStore is a site that knows what it's about. It's about Space Marines and Chaos and a few Xenos, and its range completely omits Age of Sigmar. If you happen to need some Space Marine bits, it's a good choice though. Unlike the other sites that sell bits individually, Rivos tends to sell bits in lots. Instead of buying one orc head, for example, you buy all the ones from that kit. This sort of limits its usability since generally you aren't going to be needing all of the bit types from a kit, but if you do, it's not a bad option. The next 4 bit sites I tend to not use much because they have a good range, but don't refill inventory very often. They are Let the Dice Decide, Forbidden Gaming, BitsBay, and Megabits. While not stores with dedicated sites, there are a few I use quite a bit on eBay. One weird quirk of all the eBay stores to bear in mind is that almost no bit will be under $1 on them. This is fine for the most part, but for smaller bits like ammo, it's significantly cheaper to get those from a dedicated bit site. GarageBits is the store I use the most and more than most bit sites. It tends to be a bit pricey, but its inventory refills quickly, which is really useful. HordoBits is pretty much what it sounds like. It doesn't stock specific kits, but instead just has random ones. It's not great if you're looking for a specific bit for a project, but you can sometimes find bits for significantly cheaper than other bit sites, if you're willing to look and wait. Windowbox tends to be a little on the expensive side, but is based in the US, which makes it useful for me since I can get a bit in a few days instead of the 3 to 4 weeks that's typical for all the other bit sites. There are a few other eBay stores out there, but I don't use any of them regularly. If you ever need a bit, and generally you can just type in the name on eBay and it'll pop up if any store carries it. And that's that. My trade secrets are now yours. Go and do with them what you will. If you found this video useful, hit the like button, and if you enjoy my conversions, subscribe or check out some of the ones I've already done. Thanks for watching.